they have shown, despite all their injuries this season, 12 starting pitchers on the injured list, Mookie gone for 2 months, Muncy gone, Freddy missing time. All of these things have happened. Now Shohei, physically compromised, and they keep going.
Powered by MLB 9 Innings 24. Let's talk to FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal right now, covering the series. You want to ask him this right off the jump?
I got 2 questions before we even dig into the series. Okay, we had Verducci on. Yes, was it yesterday? We had Verducci? We had Tom on yesterday, and I asked him, when you guys go in the production truck, who gets first dibs on who wants to report what first? And he said, well, that doesn't really happen. So Ken, here's your shot to answer. Who gets first dibs on what stories?
That doesn't really happen.
Confirmed.
I've been in there.
AJ,
Trust me, I've been in there.
I don't know what Tom said, but we both prepare our own stuff, and sometimes I guess there's overlap, but pretty rarely. We have kind of different perspectives. Tom, remember, is a game analyst for most of the season, so he kind of comes at it from that perspective as well as a storytelling perspective, and I have my own stuff, and whatever gets in, gets in. It's kind of the way it goes. You know that. You've worked with us.
Oh, I have. I've seen you try to add many times, and we shut you down. It's okay. All right, so now that we went close
to the World Series, are we really talking about this?
Yeah. I have 2 more quick questions. Is Harry Potter in that door behind you? Is that where he sleeps? Is that the door underneath the stairs? And you're over your right shoulder? Yeah, right shoulder.
What's your next question, AJ? Keep going.
Okay, my next question is, who won the rap battle, Ice Cube or Fat Joe?
Oh, that was a rout. Ice Cube.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Yes. Now, do you listen?
That was not even remotely close. Ice Cube captivated that stadium, and it was really cool. Just the way he did it, the mic drop at the end, the whole thing. Fat Joe, he had a Aaron Judge-like performance.
Ooh.
It wasn't good.
It is all business today.
No, that's good. I'm glad you had the take there, Ken, because you were there. And we weren't. We were watching on TV. We were interacting with fans on social media. And it did seem like that was the consensus. And it wasn't just Dodger fans dominating on socials. So I'm glad to hear that we weren't crazy, because I watched that and it felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, the consensus was it wasn't even close. I think after Ice Cube in LA, people were like, wow, that was really cool. That was almost everyone's opinion. And last night it was kind of an eye roll, honestly.
Yeah. And hey, at times, so was the game, and so is the Yankees' performance here. So let's get to what you wrote about in The Athletic. Want to lay out a little summary of where Aaron Judge's legacy is at and where he's at here, with obviously potentially a game to go, but they've got a steep hill to climb to make this real.
Obviously they do. And with Judge, it's over 250 postseason plate appearances now, and he's below 200 as a batting average perspective. He does have 15 homers, but we all know that he, for the most part in his career, has been a disappointment in the postseason. You see the numbers right there. 0 for 9 with 7 strikeouts in the first inning when either Torres or Soto is on base. And there are all kinds of numbers to indicate how much he is struggling. His chase rate has gone up in each round. It's kind of baffling to see Aaron Judge like this. And I always say this, I've said it on this show, on my show, all over the place. Give great players enough chances and they will succeed in the postseason. Well, I wrote today that Judge is testing that theory. But what I also wrote was that this cannot be only about Judge from the Yankees' perspective. They, for quite some time now, really the whole season, have not played a crisp brand of baseball. They're sloppy. They're sloppy on the bases. They're sloppy in the field. They make a lot of mistakes. And against the Dodgers, they're getting exposed. It was one thing when you're playing Kansas City and Cleveland, 2 teams with inferior offenses that really can't do much to you. But these teams, these Dodgers, it's a whole different story. And just look at last night. Edman scoring from second on that ball to right field, kind of a blooper in front of Soto. And then Giancarlo getting thrown out by Teoscar Hernandez, who was not a great left fielder, on a play at the plate. Kind of a mirror image of those 2 plays. Not exactly similar, of course, but it told you a lot about where these 2 teams are in execution.
Who's to blame in that? Or who's to congratulate for the Dodgers? Building a team that executes like they do, base runs like they do. A squeeze was almost executed to perfection. Who is to blame or celebrated?
Well, at some point it does reflect on the manager. In the Yankees case, for instance, Aaron Boone, he is the manager, and when teams play like this, that is at least partly, the manager's responsibility. From the Dodgers' perspective, it seems like an organizational thing almost. And I'm not taking anything away from Dave Roberts because he's in the same position as Aaron Boone, but the Dodgers just kind of play the game right. And maybe it's the players they choose. Maybe it's the organizational emphasis. Maybe it's the way they practice. I'm not exactly sure, but you don't see the Dodgers doing the same things the Yankees do for the most part. No team is perfect, obviously. We all know that. But the way the Dodgers have played in this series, defensively, on the bases, just in general, it's a much different look than what the Yankees are giving us.
Okay, well, how much of that is that the Dodgers are just more athletic than the Yankees at so many positions? All right, like
that's part of it.
But then that leads me to my next question: does that mean Aaron Boone, because you're putting blame on him, does that mean he could be on the possible hot seat if they don't win the World Series? The whole thing with him was they never got to the World Series. Well, now they finally get there, and let's say they lose tonight or they never go back to LA, and they really have no shot in this series. Does that put him in like major boiling water?
I don't think it does, AJ. And I would ask you, do you not think Aaron Boone is responsible for a team playing like this? He has some responsibility for that. Or you're just going to back out of the question?
No, but I think that at the same time, he's given the roster of players.
No, very true.
And Giancarlo Stanton, right? He can't run. Verdugo's not the best left fielder in the world, right? Soto's not the best right fielder in the world, right? Judge is really not a center fielder. Okay, then Rizzo's banged up clearly. Glaber is what he is at second base. Volpe's a good shortstop. Gold Glover, obviously. But third base, Jazz Chisholm's not a third baseman. So they're the way the roster is constructed, it's not a team of like fundamental guys. They're built on bludgeoning the opponent, right?
I agree.
They're not built to steal bases, take the extra base. They're waiting for Judge, Soto, Stanton, Glaber to hit home runs, and we're just going to bludgeon people to death.
AJ, what you're saying is absolutely true. And I cannot argue any of that. All I'm saying is it is partly the manager when these things happen. Now, is it more roster construction? I would suggest that it probably is. The Yankees, after they got Chisholm, thought they would be a little bit more athletic. Volpe, Chisholm, Jason Dominguez, who is not really playing here. It hasn't happened. And you're right. The roster they have is not particularly athletic. That's the reality. But even though they're not athletic, it doesn't mean they have to be sloppy. You can be, a reasonably crisp team and play to the best of your ability. I don't know that they do that. Glaber, the game one play when he didn't feel the throw from Soto, that's kind of a thing we've seen all year from him. Now, that's more on Glaber than anybody, of course. But, again, it just speaks to a team that is not very crisp. And we can put blame all over the place. It's warranted. But all I was saying on Boone is, at least in part, this is a reflection on him too. That's all. He's not going to get fired for this. He should not.
Besides the Freddy Freeman grand slam, the Yankees were going to win that game. It should be could be 2-1 right now. It's not. It's 3-0. Are these two teams this far apart? Is there a large gap in the abilities of these teams, or is there just a large gap in this series currently?
I think there's a large gap in the ability. And the reason I say that, Eric, granted, yes, game one could have turned out differently if you simply look at the 10th inning. But look at the play with Soto in right field. Look at the play with Glaber. The Yankees should never have been in that position. Game two, they don't hit. Game three, they don't hit. Granted, the Dodgers are pitching extremely well, brilliantly, in fact. But at the same time, the Dodgers offense against what we thought was a superior rotation is thriving, not having many problems at all. They're scoring a lot of runs. So I can't say right now that these teams are even along the lines of what Verdugo said last night. It's not that one-sided. No, it's 3-0. It's 3-0 for a reason. And yeah, we can point to pulling Garrett Cole in game one. We can point to the Cortez decision to use him instead of Tim Hill. We can point to all these things. But if the Yankees had cleaned it up earlier in that game, they would never have been in position to lose that game.
Ken, so it's desperation mode for the Yanks. Why not do something crazy tonight? You're down 3-0. You're essentially getting dusted in this series. I know on Fair Territory you covered how they want to not show any signs of panic and move Judge out of the 3 spot. Who cares? There's only one game left in your season. I'm not worried about anyone's feelings right now. He is a liability in that spot. When Soto's getting on and Glaber's getting on somewhat consistently, he's the guy that keeps coming up empty now for 3 games, and really it's been a problem for most of October. whether it's Judge or otherwise, why not do something crazy today just to be like, screw it, guys? And maybe it takes the pressure off some of them too.
You know what, Scott? Maybe it's the right time. I did not think it was the right time yesterday. It's 2-0 at that point, and Aaron Judge, after a poor April, snapped out of it and was great, right? So the Yankees believe, rightly so, that he could snap out of it at any moment. Judge was saying last night, all it takes is one swing, one game, one win. We're back in this thing. To a degree, he's right, but they haven't gotten that at this point. So could you change it up today? Yeah, you could, and it would reek of panic, but guess what? If there ever was a time to panic, it's when you're down 3-0.
Okay, listen, they're not moving Aaron Judge in the lineup. If
I know.
Aaron Boone's proved one thing, he's loyal, and he ain't moving Aaron Judge. Trust me, he ain't moving him. Soto's hit 2, Judge hit 3 all year. They haven't moved him. They're not moving him. Now, they might mix up some other guys, maybe throw Dominguez in there. Why not? It can't hurt. I don't know. Try something different. They tried Trevino for Wells last night, didn't do anything. But my question is this, is everyone's throwing shade at the Yankees? How about some love for the Dodgers and what they've done? They've taken advantage. They've hit when they needed to get the hits. They've hit with runners in scoring position. The Yankees haven't hit with runners in scoring position, right? They've made the pitches. The huge advantage that we all thought was the Yankees starting rotation. The Dodgers starting rotation has outpitched them. Now game 1 was different, but game 2, Yamamoto was great last night. Walker Buehler was unbelievable. Now I know they have a bullpen game, but maybe we should give some Dodger love here and say, hey, the Dodgers are just doing what they need to do, which is get the hits, make the plays, run the bases, make the pitches. They're just a better team, maybe.
AJ, who is not giving the Dodgers love here?
You, Ken.
About the Yankees.
You are not. You're
asked me
just saying the
questions.
Yankees are bad.
You asked me questions about the Yankees. I answered questions about the Yankees.
Oh,
If you want me to talk about the Dodgers, I can talk all day long. They have shown, despite all their injuries this season, 12 starting pitchers on the injured list, Mookie gone for 2 months, Muncy gone, Freddy missing time. All of these things have happened. Now Shohei, physically compromised, and they keep going. Now, part of it's payroll. They have the depth because of that. Part of it's the ability to plug in different players. Part of it is the deadline that they had. Flaherty, Edman, Kopech. It was brilliant, especially compared to the Yankees looking back. So no one, AJ, is suggesting that the Dodgers don't deserve love. In fact, part of the reason why the Yankees look so kind of out of it here is because they're playing a team that does all the things that the Yankees don't. I talked about this. Base running, defense, discipline at the plate has not disappeared. Their walk rate is right up there with what it was in the regular season. Their chase rate, similar to what it was in the regular season. This is what they do. They grind teams down. They're really good at it. And the cool thing about the Dodgers going forward is their core guys are in place. Now, granted, they're going to get older and at some point they'll decline, but this should not be the end of them by any stretch of the imagination, no matter what happens in this series. Whereas the Yankees, it looks a lot different without Soto, perhaps, and some of their other potential free agents. So I love where the Dodgers are, and I love what they've done. They've been the most efficient team for quite some time now. Just haven't won in the playoffs, and now it appears that they will.
With all the pitchers that the Dodgers have used, bullpen game, they use 8 pitchers. What's the one consistent player that all 8 of those pitchers play with? Will Smith. Will Smith does not get enough love for what he has done, and 2 catchers are on this show, so I'll be accused of catcher love, but
no, that's fair.
He needs to get way more, and even in your diatribe that you just had, you didn't once mention Will Smith. To me, if you are a catcher, if you're a catcher and you have to work with 8 different pitchers to get through a shutout, they should carry you off the field and make a statue outside of Dodger Stadium for you.
All right, no disrespect to you.
That's a little much. Yeah, it's okay.
No disrespect.
Yeah, calm down.
But being on this show today is like being on Twitter. Every time I open my mouth, it's, well, what about this? It absolutely deserves credit. And hey, that streak of 33 consecutive scoreless innings earlier this postseason, that was amazing. And he caught every one of them with a zillion different pitchers. So clearly, he has come a long way as a catcher. And one of the things Dave Roberts has mentioned about Will Smith is that he has gotten better at adapting within a game, not just following the plan and not just going by what they discussed pregame. He will see things during the game. He'll change on the fly. And as you guys know, you guys play the position, that's what the really good ones do. So he deserves a ton of credit. And I would agree, Eric, that he's not getting enough because people have focused a little bit on his offense, which hasn't been as great as it often is. But my gosh, what he has done and what they've done with their game planning in general, it's been pretty awesome, actually.
And I brought that up because Austin Barnes, other postseasons, now they won the World Series. Austin Barnes they used kind of Austin Barnes and Will Smith almost interchangeably in the sense of like, well, we really love the receiving that Austin Barnes gives us, so we know we're getting a downgrade in offense. Did Dave Roberts mention that when he was talking about he makes in-game adjustments better, that like, oh, they're trusting him more now? Or is it something that, they're just trusting him more now and he's making better in-game adjustments?
I think they feel he's the better player. It's as simple as that. And Austin Barnes was a good backup and has been a good backup for many years. Will Smith is, I wouldn't call him a superstar, but he's certainly a star. And he's a guy that on both sides of the ball is really good and only getting better. He is entering his prime here. So I don't know that it's more anything but a vote of confidence in Smith and what he has done than a lack of confidence in Barnes, though Barnes has some things in his game that aren't as good. So listen, man, you guys know this. When the manager makes out the lineup, that tells you all you need to know. And that's telling us all we need to know here.
By the way, I'm offended that I don't have a statue in Chicago because our pitchers threw 4 complete games in a row, and I caught every inning, and I didn't get no statue, but that's fine. If we're giving out statues, as long as it doesn't look like Dwayne Wade's statue, we're good. But Kim, before we let you go, is there anybody, if the Dodgers win the series, that could take the MVP away from Freddy Freeman? Or heard he got the keys to that Chevy car he's going to drive out of the stadium right to where he lives?
I think he's got the keys, AJ, don't you?
Yeah. Unless something crazy happens and the Yankees make this a 6 or 7,
right?
Come back and make this like a 7-game series, and something crazy happens. I mean, he's already putting gas in that car.
Absolutely, and my gosh, what he has done and the way he has worked to get on the field, simply to get on the field and then perform the way he has, no one can say anything but the best things about Freddie Freeman. And frankly, he's been that guy this whole career, but in this case, he's been playing with a physical ailment, a severely sprained ankle that in the first 2 rounds really compromised him. Now, he told me in the post-game interview last night that the ankle is much better and the layoff really helped him, and clearly we're seeing it. No extra base hits in the first 2 rounds. A home run in every game of the World Series so far. And if he gets one tonight, he sets the all-time record for home runs in consecutive World Series games. He's currently tied with George Springer at 5. If he gets to 6 and the Dodgers win the World Series, maybe they should give him a second car.
That's right. Maybe he gets a statue.
Yeah, he can't afford to buy a car.
He can afford to buy whatever he wants. Hey, that was a great signing. We gave it a ton of love last night, and we'll continue to do that. Ken, enjoy what could be the last game of the series for National Baseball fans who don't have any rooting interest. We hope this one continues for a little bit, but thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you later this week.
All right, talk soon, guys.
Thank you. That's the Inside Scoop with Ken Rosenthal, powered by MLB 9 Innings 24. It's a free game, so give it a look. Scan the QR code, download it, get the best baseball game in the palm of your hands, all the latest from this 2024 season, and 2 legends are in this little flick.
Dang, that swing is almost as good as mine.
Yeah? See what you got. Not bad for only 1 MVP.
That's cute. Call me when you get to 6:30. Still got it.
Whatever.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.